This is kind of meant to be a tale of two streets. I'm in Old Shako, and this is a business hotel that's getting a facelift. It's actually taking quite a long time. If you look off in the distance there, that will take you to Shuiwan Station, which is on line 2 on the Shenzhen Metro. And I kind of wanted to take a look and see how things have changed, especially since the advent of these apartments back in 2019. Actually, I'd tell a lie, it's 2017. So it is actually a long time. There used to be a lot more of these mom and pop shops along this road than there are now. Now, granted, some of that is due to the confines, difficulties, and constraints that were put forth by COVID. But some of them are for other reasons too. These little back streets were a lot seedier than they are now when I arrived here almost 9 years ago. The buildings hadn't changed, but the shops that populate the space on the ground floor, that's changed considerably. At one time, there was really two kinds of businesses that were here. Import-export, with a heavy emphasis on the import, and something that was service-based. That seems like the nicest possible way I can put that. A couple of the tailors are still here. A couple of the other little shops are still here too. The convenience store has managed to survive, but by the looks of the outside, only just barely. And the last time I was actually down here, they still had everything blocked off and you were still scanning to get into buildings. The joys of COVID. Actually, there was a time when I would come down here and this is where I would get my hair cut because, one, the prices were good, and two, they were pretty quick. But things have changed a little bit. And if you look at the number of bikes here, most people live here and work somewhere else. But there's no lack of activity here now. Hair salons, other salons. Definitely some places to eat around here. Now you see this sign in the distance, Mama Bar. That says more about what used to be in this particular area. So a certain number of things have changed. One thing that hasn't changed is this supermarket. I'm wrong. It's closed. It used to be open 24 hours. Because I know when I would come here, I could go get fruits and vegetables at 3 o'clock in the morning if I needed to. And believe it or not, there were times where I needed to. This really is a tale of two streets because I'm actually going to do another one and look at the changes in Shako over the last 8 years. They have done a lot to try and improve the reputation of the area. A lot of the shops I remember when I first arrived, and actually places that, quite frankly, I would occasionally frequent, they're gone. A couple of these little hole in the wall restaurants, though, they're still here. And these hole in the wall places sometimes have the absolute best food. But as you can see, it's not really a quiet place. This parking here is actually a recent add-on. This actually used to be a fairly open space and people would just sort of park willy-nilly. But now it's obviously not like that. And just across the street over here, the third floor was the Meili Hotel. And in my first year in Shenzhen, I was there almost every weekend. If you keep going straight, you end up on Shekou Laojie, which is Shekou Old Street. And there's still a few bars and restaurants there. But even that's changed a little bit over time. And these places have changed too. But welcome to Street 1 in A Tale of Two Streets.